People have been robbing businesses blind for years. Business owners, you are going to move past going for masterclass for running ads to come back to learn how to sustain the business that you are building. Everybody have turned their business into a marketing company. Everybody's jumping, running ads, doing content. You do all of that and all of your sweat is wiped up in one theft incident. Here are 3 things I think a lot of business owners need to do to ensure that they don't keep going through this madness. Number 1, create a structure where you don't just have one person managing inventory or funds. One person cannot manage inventory or funds. Again, you can have 2 people and 3 people and they gather together and they steal from you. But what is the likelihood of that happening frequently? When you do SOP, let the inventory people do SOP, let them audit. The truth is, after they come audit and everything, your business is going to be running on a day-to-day operation. Create a structure in your business where you don't have one person approving certain things or one person managing certain conversations. And if you are dealing with huge orders, huge numbers, find a way to impute yourself in the approval system. You don't need to be there physically, but before a certain thing comes out or before a certain payment is made, there should be an approval done by you. I work with one of the biggest fitness companies, and I promise you, there are certain things. See, every department have their limit for expenditure. Even the CFO of the company has a limit of what he can approve. Once he passes that, he needs to go to the top before the approval comes down. And no matter how fast people want to fast track things, if that approval has not happened, it will not happen. There are internal controls. So when somebody is trying to do something here, it goes through this person, it goes through this person, it goes through. So if you have multiple touch points for certain approvals or certain orders to go out, it is going to reduce theft. And if it doesn't reduce theft, you're going to find out, somebody in the team is going to find out sooner or later that something is happening. Now, the bad luck with this is that if everybody puts heads together, it will not work. But again, let's go to the second point, which might help you elevate this. You need to know your business numbers. And when we talk about your business number, everybody's talking about revenue, how much you've made, there. You need to know what a typical inventory count of your goods should be. If you don't know that, you need to have someone who is managing that, especially the people who are bringing trucks and trailer from China. Your inventory numbers are in multiple numbers. There should be a software system that you can look through and supervise, and there should be someone who physically checkmates this thing. At the end of every day, there should be a store count. And I'm not saying go around and count, but no, what stock did we start with today and what stock did we end with today, and you balance it. People in the bank do this. You can't leave your desk as a cashier in the bank without balancing. In branches in where I work, at the end of the day, there is a balancing that is being done to confirm that what was received in the business in your branch is equal. Now, trust me, sometimes things are mixed up, but if your daily count is mixed up, at the end of the month, it will be flagged. But in the bank, you can't even live without balancing some of these conversations. What am I saying? Have a structure, have a rule or a plan that helps you gauge what you started your business day with and what you ended it with. That's why you have bookkeeping conversations, petty cash book, and all of that. Make sure there is a way that you're tracking what we sold today, how much we received, and how much inventory we're closing out with. The next morning, we're working with that and that and that. It will be hard for people to steal. It's not that people will not steal again, but it will be hard for people to steal. Number 3, have an external auditor come into your business once in a while. If you're running business that has revenue of over 5 million naira, even 2 million, have an external auditor come in. The eyes of the external auditor is going to see things that you can't see. The eyes of the external auditor is going to find out loopholes and gaps that you would typically miss out. There is a reason why we have external auditors for big organizations and small organizations. The idea is an external eye what I'm seeing and what someone who is not really involved in the business will see are not the same. This is the way big businesses grow and scale. The businesses that stay for 100 years, they don't grow on vibes. They don't grow on Instagram trend. They don't grow on cloud chasing and calling, and they grow on real structures. And I promise you, these businesses, they are not perfect, but they are able to manage certain things. And this is a final advice I would give, because nobody will really tell you this. But sometimes businesses budget for theft. There is inventory budgeted for theft. The first time I heard this, I was a bit shocked. I'm like, for real? He said yes. Like, you can't be chasing everything. You can't be chasing everything. So there's that budget, but there's still structure. But if the business loses this, what happens? I mean, in Nigeria, business insurance isn't as loud as it's supposed to be, but I think that is where we are headed. The reasons why these problems are coming out and they are being flagged is a good thing, it's not a bad thing, and I'm sorry for the victims in it. But what's happening is that when things like this happen, we are all learning, and then new strategies are coming into place how businesses can now be able to sustain their operations over a period of time. And so things like insurance, these are conversations we'll soon be having, because the Nigerian SME industry or SME scene is getting matured. So we have businesses now that have stayed 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. Yes, it's not really babyish again. So some conversations are now different. We're not really talking about how to start. I mean, everybody typically know how to start. I mean, the next conversation is how do we sustain these businesses? How do we grow a business that is consistent in revenue, operations, ECG, and all of that, right? So I mean, these things might come off as bad, but I feel like on the long run, what is going to happen is that we're all going to learn how best to run our businesses and what best to do when things like this happen. Again, my name is Breakthrough Onye. I'm a startup founder. I'm also an employee in a company, so I'm sharing my business opinions and experience. If you love this video, please share to the business owner who needs to hear this. I may do a part B to go into details, I may not, but what I forgot to put in this video that I think is very important is the fact that people should stop talking about business theft and people not being paid well in the same sentence. That's sentimental madness. If you're in a company and you're not being paid well, my advice would be find other options. Stealing is not the way. When you steal, it's different. It's not because you're not being paid well, it's because maybe you're a thief. We should all be very honest with ourselves when things like this happen. That's how we hold ourselves accountable. It does not mean that anybody is a saint, but it genuinely just means that if you're stealing, you're a thief. It's not because you're not being paid well. It's not because your boss is wicked. That's why you're not stealing from your boss. If you're in a toxic situation or a situation that doesn't work, I mean, take your leave. Yeah. So see you in the next one.